When Avery was around 3 years old, Avery pointed to his bottom and he told me that daddy kicked me with his privates.
It was just ludicrous. I would never do something like that.
CPS had me go pick Avery up from Andy immediately.
But to be very clear, the day before Megan reported it, she actually asked Andy to come pick Avery up.
If she actually believed that, why would she ask me to pick him up a day after hearing that?
After CPS investigated it, the allegations were completely unfounded.
Megan, he said, I would never make this up. Andy says, you need help. Megan says, I have no choice but to take action. Then on Wednesday, Andy says, when am I getting him? Megan, tomorrow before class, or I can bring him tonight.
I do have reasoning behind that.
Please.
First off, I didn't know how to handle it because Avery was so young and I wasn't sure what was the right way to go about. And I was worried that if I refused to give Andy his visitation, that he would come back and file that I refused to allow his visitation without any concrete evidence or reasoning.
Megan, you have done that multiple times.
Hold on a minute, Andy. Andy, hold on. Megan, did you take him to the doctor?
I ended up making an appointment for the evaluation, yes. Not immediately after, but I called CPS, and then as soon as I called them, they recommended me on what to do from there.
Did you take him to the doctor?
Yes.
You took him to a pediatrician who examined him for sexual molestation.
They did the interactive exam, I guess, that if he showed any behavioral signs of it.
That's not true. So Dr. Phil, because obviously she's not understanding the question. No, she never took him to the doctor. The CPS, what they did is they did their investigation. They did the behavioral specialist. Megan never took him to a doctor. Megan never did any of that stuff. So I guess maybe she's misunderstanding.
Told us that Megan requested an exam, but they told her that that's too traumatizing to do on a child, that they would not do that unless he showed signs, symptoms of it.
Right. And when he didn't, that's when I canceled the physical exam because they said it was going to be too traumatizing for him.
Right. And you also, Megan, after all this was said and done and was obviously unfounded, you messaged me letting me know that I would never do something like this. And it just so happens that it happened. Right. And just what you just said in your interview, that you think that might be some reason why you're doing it. And then, not to mention, after all this time, after it was unfounded, you continue to do it right before we have custody. It kind of makes weird sense that it just happened right before custody.
Why would you say that Andy's trying to keep custody to keep him quiet?
But you just say I wouldn't do that. So which one is it?
Sometimes I wonder. Like in the interview, I said that I have a gut instinct, and when Avery told me that, it just set me on a defense mode.
We just both know it was a accusation just to make sure that you can sit there and try to get custody. You've done everything you could to try to put it in place, and they literally keep shutting you down because you can't keep making up lies to try to benefit yourself. The facts are never there. You know in your heart, deep in, I would never do something like that, and you did it just out of spite. That's just what it is.
That's not why I did it. I mean, I'm sorry that you feel that way, Andy. I've tried to let you know that that's not why I did it, and I don't know how to change your mind. I guess that I don't know. I don't know what you want me to say.
Megan, did Avery come home and tell you what you are alleging he told you, or is this something that just as a desperate mother you were pushed into saying in an effort to try to get access to your son?
Avery came to me and told me that. That's why I asked him if his dad kicked him with his foot, so that I wasn't prompting him to say anything else of the sort. Like, he came and he told me that word for word.
Well, I'm really sorry to hear that, because that gives me grave concerns about your judgment as a mother. Because if your son came and said that to you, and the next day your judgment was to offer him up to his alleged molester, there's something seriously wrong with your judgment.
If I didn't let him have his visitation with his dad, then his dad would have been able, then I would be the one in the wrong.